Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Ern's Misadventures. We're back on the TRS-80 Model 4P. We're going to continue the preparation for retrobrighting, so we'll start by disassembling the keyboard case. There was one screw hidden underneath the rubber, what would you call that, a strip? A rubber strip there? Which is a bummer because I had to peel that off to get to it. I wasn't sure it was there, but it wouldn't open. I kind of suspected. And sure enough, there it was. So we'll just remove that one screw and we'll get in there. Alrighty. The little legs that stand up the keyboard, they can come out now. Alright, so you got a connector there. There's a little arrow that points to the left side there. If you look on that connector right there, you can just about see it. So when it comes time to put it back together, arrow to the left side. Oh, that's got the connector. I guess I'm pointing that out here in the video. We've had some struggle with our audio. Yeah, it's been pretty bad. The air conditioner makes so much noise and other things, so I'm trying something different. I'm doing a voiceover only. Sometimes when I edit the videos, they really don't sound that bad. You can hear the air conditioner. They don't sound that bad. But when I played one on my phone that I'd already uploaded to YouTube just to see what it looked like, oh my gosh, it was awful. So I'm trying something different. Let me know if you like it or hate it. So yeah, we get the ground lug off, and I just put the nut right back on there because there's really no reason to have that floating around getting lost or something. So getting the cable out of the bottom of the case is a little challenging, but it's a little snug. But if you try not to freak out and crush anything, you'll eventually get it through there. I say that because I struggle with this. Alrighty, just about, and it's through. Good deal. Now, those, I guess they're brass, maybe they're copper, I don't know. Anyway, those metal tabs there, the springs for the feet, I'm checking here to see if they're any way they're going to fall off of there while I'm cleaning or retrobrighting or anything else. And best I could tell, they weren't going to fall off, so I just left them in place. Piece of cake. So the keycaps came apart in different ways. Some of them separated the lower half of the keycap and the upper half, and some of them came clear off the post. I saw no reason to possibly damage anything else to try to make them all uniform or anything else. Top of the keycaps is what I was interested in. Yeah, they got these nice mechanical keys on them, the key switches. It's pretty nice. Guess I'm pointing that out here, talking about how the caps came apart separately, differently in different places. As long as it'll go back together, it doesn't really matter how it comes apart, as long as I can get the top of the caps, which is what I wanted to retrobright and clean. Alright. Time to bust out the Q-tips. Well, I lost some footage, obviously. I didn't get the keycaps being done, but if you're curious how that's done, I have other videos where I retrobrighted other machines, and I use the same process. I use the 12% hydrogen peroxide cream rinse, finishing cream, I guess you'd call it. I get the Amazon one. I don't go to Sally Beauty and buy it. You can get a gallon for about what you'd pay for a quart or whatever. So much more efficient to buy it from Amazon, and you don't have to go to Sally Beauty. Win-win. So yeah, I just paint it on and then wrap it up in the plastic cellophane cling wrap there. I got this cling wrap from Amazon too. I really like it because it's got that easy cutter on it. I've always been challenged with getting the plastic wrap to cut with that little razor blade thing on the side, a little saw. So I find it helpful to just use this. Alright, fold and tuck underneath to the part where we're not worried about retrobrighting. And another piece is ready for retrobright. Apparently I had wrapped these up earlier, and yeah, they're going to need a little help. So I just kind of tore it apart and went ahead and redid the handle, because that came out, you know, that plastic got all munched up. Yep, I have a cling wrap disability. Try to find a time when it's quiet to record this. You might hear my wife chopping some potatoes. But I won't complain, she's making me breakfast. Alright, paint it on, wrap it up. We'll put it in the box. Here's my UV light that I use along with my foil lined box. I'll show that to you here in a second. Yeah, so here's the box I use. It's got the keycaps in it. They're already been treated and wrapped up. So it's got a hole cut in the top of the box, and you just put the light right over that, turn it on. I don't show turning it on here, but you know, I think that's pretty much given. You got to turn it on. And then I put a piece of foil over the top. Got my finger over the camera here. That was real nice. But yeah, lay a couple pieces of foil over the top just to kind of keep the light, the UV light, from shining in the rest of the room. It's probably not healthy for your eyes to be looking at that, among other situations UV light can cause. So I mean, that's just of it. And then turn it on, let it sit. So this is the next evening, obviously, and getting ready to do some more parts. By this point, I think I've got everything else done except for the actual outer case shell, the main piece you take off to expose the rest of it. So I tried to record this using my webcam, and well, you'll see. We're going to run into a vertical height issue here. But At any rate, we do the best we can. We overcome, right? So yeah, I just paint it on as evenly as I can. I try to put it on kind of thick, because if you put it on too thin, it has more likelihood of drying up on you, even with the cellophane. So, I mean, I'm not an expert. This does make the, what have I done? 1, 2, 3. This is the 4th computer I've done Retrobright work on, so certainly doesn't make me an expert, but I have a little experience. There you go. Little piece on the top. So we'll put that in the box, and while that cooks, we'll go ahead and reassemble the keyboard. Wipe up the mess first from the slop. So you can see the case came out nice. You'll see more of that later. Alright, so I'm going to put a little 303 spray on the keys, on each of the keycaps before I put them back on. That way I have access to all the sides. But I'm going to spare you all of that. And this is going to go pretty quickly. There we go. Alright, ground lug getting reattached here. There you go. Top going back on. That thing looks brand new, doesn't it? Let's put the screws back in. Alright, so keyboard back together. The rest of the case is busy retrobrighting, so I thought I'd go ahead and get that RIFA capacitor taken care of. That's it right there. Trying to think how I could point to you. I can't do it. At any rate, get those screws out, take the connectors off, the board comes right off. I think it was Jan Bita I saw showed me the trick with the felt pen. Use a marker to mark between the posts you want to desolder. That way you don't get confused and desolder the wrong things. This is me trying to kind of touch any capacitors together, discharge them. I didn't think it'd be a bad idea to do that in case they're holding a charge. Alright, there's my desoldering tool. Obviously haven't dusted it in a while. Okay, get her turned on. 360 degrees Celsius. Don't know if that's right, wrong. That's what I used. Okay, you get the old flux pin. And go to town. Here we go. It's up to temperature. It's ready. Yeah, it was a little clogged. I had to clean it out. Here we go. I think next time I'm just going to do one capacitor. I'm not going to haul all this out. I'll just use the desoldering braid, solder wick, whatever you want to call it. But it did work pretty good. It's just a lot of hassle for two little pins. Then I got to turn it off, move it out of the way, bring in the soldering iron. So yeah, I got the solder wick, desoldering braid, whatever you want to call it. Just kind of cleaned up the pads a little bit. There's the replacement. Alright, a little more flux. Snug it on up tight. And now we solder. Put a little tin on the tip there just to help with conductivity. Yep. Clean off the soldering tip and that's done. Clip the legs. Trying to get out the IPA and the Yanbita brush. While I was at it, I decided I'd just go ahead and clean the whole underside. Give it a quick scrub down. It was a little dusty. There's nothing, not that it had any problems going on. Alright. Only thing left to do is put it back in the computer. Screw it down. Reconnect the connectors. Now here is the face. After it's already been retrobrighted, I need to put that back on. Face, front panel, bezel, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I left the keyboard connected, so it was a struggle trying to keep that from getting messed up while I'm moving things around. We got through it. So here I'm trying to stand it up so that I can have gravity work with me while I put the screws back in the front panel. Two of those screws go in next to the CRT. So while the power supply is, the top cover is out of the way, that's the easiest time to get to those. I have a longer shank screwdriver, but I use this one because it's magnetic. I thought it would hold the screw better. And it does. Yeah, there's my longer shank screwdriver. As Chris Edwards would say, the John Holmes. There we go. Put the top panel back in place, put the screws in. Yeah. On both sides there's a couple screws going to the front panel there. Here's the rear panel going back on. So I know that edge connector on the far end there, as you're looking at this video, it'd be on the right side from our point of view. That is the parallel. I need to look up and see what that middle one is and why would they put a cover over it. Interesting. And that is the serial port there, the black one. All right. So it's all back together. Let's see if it still works. Oh, little 303 spray on the drives. Oh, look at those red lights. Aren't they cool? Yeah, I realized, oh yeah, I didn't put the flash drive in. Works better with that in there in the Gotek. A little out of focus here on the screen, but point is it booted just fine. Our little feet for the keyboard work quite nicely. You just press down and fold out. So I guess I'm pulling a directory here. Nice. Alright, well there it is, all back together in its glory. We're going to end the video here. I want to thank you all for watching. I'd like to invite you to subscribe to the channel. And with that, we'll see you in the next one, where we will take it apart again and swap out the floppy drive, see if we can get the floppy and the Gotek working at the same time. So until then, my friends, y'all take care.